Hi guys, welcome to the New Things in Customer Education show. I'm your host, Rish. Today with me, I have Erika Putinsky from Atlanta. Hi Erika, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, Rish?
I'm doing pretty good. So Erika has 2 decades of experience in high-value Fortune 500 companies. At present, she's Vice President for Customer Education at Mailchimp. Erika, welcome to the show.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Before we jump onto the show, just a quick announcement for our sponsors. This show is authored by Content Beta. Content Beta is a video and design service for B2B software companies. We work with 100 plus software companies to create product marketing and customer-enabled content. So Erika, before we jump onto the podcast, would really love to learn about how you got into customer education and what do you do at Mailchimp?
Yeah, my trajectory into customer education is a little different, unusual than the typical folks. I actually started my career in nonprofits, and the inspiration there for me was working in the nonprofits. We were always leaning into indirect service, so teaching whomever we were working with and providing them the right tools at the right time to help empower them to be successful. So in doing that, it gives folks, it's that age-old adage of you teach a man to fish and he, eats for life. So I was fortunate to be able to do that early in my career. I helped out with disaster relief after Hurricane Katrina, which was incredible. That really got me thinking about how do we leverage those partnerships in corporations to get things done, to get the right hands and the right tools in people's hands to be successful. From there, I did some consulting. I ran an agency, a creative agency, and then I was the chief customer officer at an enterprise level digital marketing company. I had the in-house agency, I had customer success, I had customer education, and I had the support team. So that sort of gave me this full breadth of knowledge and visibility into what people need to be successful with their digital marketing tools. Then, the call came. So grateful and fortunate to be on the Mailchimp team here. Like you said at the top of the recording, I'm the Vice President of Customer Education. We also do enablement on our team as well, which is a little bit different. Some education teams don't get to do that. So that's the in-house training of all of our customer-facing folks. So it's a neat way to kind of pull that linear thread around education and wrap around our customers and our people in a unique way.
Lovely. I think you've worn a lot of hats in your career till now. I mean, running both on the marketing side, so you understand the marketer's problem, you understand the success problem and the retention problem, and now you're in the enablement function. I'm not sure if it's the right way to answer, but which hat did you like the most?
That's a tough question. I think for me, it's the fact that in all of those roles, I have been able to work with customers or with people to make sure that they have the opportunity to be successful and that we can help create that level of confidence so they can do more than they ever thought possible. For me, that's kind of the magic and the reason why I show up every day. It's if we can help folks, feel 10% better, that they could go to sleep and say, I was great today and I'm going to be even better tomorrow, then that's a true win.
Awesome. So let's jump right into enablement. So I get this question a lot of time that, hey, what should I focus on? What content should I create to enable my customers? Should I create video courses? Should I focus on knowledge base? Should I create chatbots? So that I can answer questions instantaneously. What are your thoughts on which type of content format works the most?
Yeah, I think that the knowledge base is kind of just sort of the bread and butter. So the basic. I think it's important to have a tight knowledge base. Here at Mailchimp, our technical folks on our care team, they use the knowledge base. Our customers are using knowledge base. So I do think that that's important. But the thing that I think is critical is to think about who your customers are and how they want to consume content. I say that because, knowledge bases, they're typically like a how-to list. You go through, you do 1, 2, 3. Some folks, that's not how they like to consume content. Some folks, are more visual learners or more auditory learners, or, there's some folks that we need to think about from an accessibility perspective. Maybe written content isn't the right place for them to really focus and engage. So what we like to do is to take a step back and think about, who are our primary customers that are using? Is it Gen Z? Like we're doing some experiments with content on TikTok, educational content on TikTok, which is pretty cool, or on LinkedIn, for some folks that might be at an enterprise level that are more thinking about that kind of career pathing. And then we do live webinars. There's some folks that we have a full customer success team, but sometimes folks don't want to have a one-on-one conversation with somebody. They're intimidated. So they do want to learn in a group environment. So if you got the opportunity to be able to kind of take that pulse and show up where people are going to learn, then that is incredible. And then you can also think about your content from sort of a modular perspective. A lot of the webinar content that we do, we're able to pull out those tidbits of just sort of magic moments when a customer asks a question that we feel like would be relevant and important, and then also whatever, just super fun. And then we can pass that over to the marketing team, and they can we can turn it into an Instagram reel or something like that. So that's where we get some great opportunity to be flexible and to really think outside of the box.
I think I could draw parallels from this for marketing. So when marketers create multiple forms of content and not just blog or just one format, and I think they say the same thing, that everybody learns in a different way, and you ought to be there wherever they are. So I mean that's what even marketing is about. In terms of education, maybe slightly deep diving on Mailchimp Academy, I thought there were a bunch of certifications, right? And this is another question which I get the most is, hey, should I focus on video courses? Should I focus on certification? Should I focus on like live training? Now, how are certifications different, and what should a company, what are your goals when you make courses like certifications?
Yeah, for our Mailchimp Academy, so right now that is facing our partners or experts. So those are agencies and freelancers who actually use Mailchimp with their customers. So one thing that we found great opportunity with the Academy is quite honestly, there's that moment of personal validation. I think we all like to know, like, we took the test and we passed, and we can high five and do that kind of thing. So I think that gives that opportunity for someone to feel like, okay, I have this content, I get it, I want it, and I'm capable to go out in the world and use this. We're also moving toward a customer-facing academy as well. Same way, that way, if your boss says, hey, you have to use Mailchimp, then your boss can, see that you took the course. Okay, Rich has it. He understands what needs to happen. I could trust him with going forward. It also creates that user
more like gamification. More like gamification of the experience. So like you put like a badge,
totally,
LinkedIn profile or something like that.
Yeah, and that's it. Like, I think we're all looking to just sort of show what we know and what we've done. And so, a lot of our folks that have passed the certification, they do put that badge on their LinkedIn. We some folks t-shirts and swag, like it's, wow. Whatever. They're like, that's fun too. Like, but ask questions. Oh, what do you have to do with Mailchimp? Then it gives someone the opportunity to say, hey, I'm a Mailchimp certified pro. There's that other element of pride. It creates a good connection with the company as well. And I think that's important. because then those folks, they feel like they're a part of something bigger. And that's what we want at the end of the day, for someone to know how to use a product and be so engaged with it that they're a part of it. They feel like they want to be there.
I think your marketers will love you guys for this. Somehow I feel customer education also does a lot of job which marketing team should be doing. Because customer education doesn't mean only educating customers, even educating your prospects, right? I mean, Mailchimp Academy, I'm assuming it's open for the world, or is it catered only for the customers?
So the academy that we have right now is just for agencies and partners. So those are folks that are there. Where we do get opportunity to have that sales motion, or folks that are prospective customers and current customers, is our webinar work that we do. We've had great success with those webinars. Again, folks want to learn in different ways. And so whenever we have our webinars, we have them live webinars. We're experimenting right now with a Mailchimp person and then a co-host who's actually an expert out in the field, which we love because, whenever you're from an educational perspective, you learn how to do it and you're presenting and that kind of thing. But when you can get somebody that has learned how to do it out in the wild or uses it day to day, and they bring the workarounds, they bring those like aha moments to us all where we're like, oh my gosh, like you've invented a new way to use our product. So that's really exciting. And then we learn more, and then we can take those learnings back to our product team to make suggestions on how to do things differently.
I love how customer education today is moving from like pure product training to even creating like I think when I see content by Mailchimp, I feel it's trying to make me a better email marketer as opposed to like best at Mailchimp. What are your thoughts? I mean, when should somebody evolve their customer education, which is without restricting only to the product training?
Yeah, I think as the world has evolved, and it's an opportunity to be an entrepreneur and have your own business and do those kinds of things. I think folks are looking for the why, and that's where we can move beyond just the how do I do this thing? How do I upload a content or a contact list or something like that? Whenever as a company you can explain the why, that's when there's great opportunity for there to be connections with your customers and they get it. And that's the thing that we're really trying to lean into. And it's a great spot to collaborate with the marketing teams because, the work that we're doing is how to do the thing, but we're also helping to explain the value of the product in a more kind of easy way. It doesn't feel sales pitchy or something like that. It's true, it's transparent, it's easy to understand. This is how I'm going to expand my business by taking this action in Mailchimp.
Awesome. I'm going to ask you a controversial question. Where should the customer education sit? Is it product marketing tells me that, hey, they're doing content for the product, it should sit under me. Customer success is telling you, hey, it's educating my own customers. Where do you think is the right spot, or how should one think about it?
Yeah, it's you're totally right. It is controversial. Education, customer education is sort of kind of the new kid on the block, and so a lot of folks are excited and interested in using it. I like how we have it set up in Mailchimp. It is not in marketing, it is not in product, but we are collaborators with marketing and products. I think that gives us the ability to kind of sit in this sweet spot where we can make smart decisions based on what we're seeing with our customers. And we have the ability to work with our front-end folks. Because here at Mailchimp, we have education and enablement sort of together in one world. I hear from our sales team. We've got great collaboration with our sales team, and they talk and they say, oh, this is what we hear customers are talking about, what customers need. Great. I can create content in that way, and then we can talk to marketing and say, hey, this is what we're leaning into. And then we can layer on top of it. We can also work with product and say, oh my gosh, it's we need to have a knowledge base easily accessible within the app. This is a missing opportunity for us. And then they get it. We can come to them with data-backed stats and information, and then we can also show okay, here's where we see the potential for a revenue lift or the opportunity to retain customers through this. That way they don't have to sort of kind of get out of their wheelhouse. We're kind of delivering to them a great opportunity.
Truly, that's great. In terms of, so I remember a conversation before this chat, and you were specifying about enablement not just for the customers and partners, but even internally. And I think a lot of software companies fail at doing that. Would really love to learn what you follow at Mailchimp. Do you have like a process, like a weekly catch up? How do you do that so it's not like just a one-time activity, but more like a continuous, sustainable process?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, education is continual. If you just sort of learn to do one thing once, you may remember how to do it, or you may not. So for our internal enablement, it's consistent. So anytime we have a new product release, we know we're making that content customer facing, and we turn it back inward, and then we're working with our customer facing teams to also train them on that product in a very, very similar way as to how we've trained our customers. That does a couple things. One, it helps our teams stay sort of up to date on everything that's happening. Two, we create language, which I think is something that a lot of folks miss. So you'll read how to do something in customer education, but the way the internal teams are trained, it's a little bit different. It's nuanced. And so, you might call something by a different name, or you might miss an important detail in the process. And then that way, when when a salesperson is explaining something to a customer, this is where we step into that universe of vaporware and things get weird. So we can do that, which is great. So they understand truly how it works. And that also gives us the opportunity to lean into some cool ways. We use a challenger methodology for our sales team, but we Mailchimpify it. And so we're able to really lean into the culture of Mailchimp, how we work, how we do things, and how we really wrap around our customers. That shows up in our education. That shows up in how our teams talk to our people. It's pretty exciting, I think.
You guys are truly all-rounder. I mean, not just focusing on one part of education, but even the entire org-wise. So this seems to be really complex. How do you measure success? How do you say that, which metrics make you feel that, hey, this is the task we're aiming for and this is what we've achieved?
Yeah, we do the usual stuff, customer satisfaction, whether it's with the educational piece or with the enablement training that we do. We've got a great operations team here at Mailchimp that helps us, gather all the data and the stats. And I'm very fortunate that, we've got someone that's doing all the data analytics for us. So we can say, here's the sort of micro movements that we want to understand, and we can get that charted. So that's, signups, how many people show up, the attentive scale and things like that on webinars. Did somebody open up a different browser window and sort of ignore what was going on the webinar? But I also liked for us to be able to think about those macro, so we have the normal, the micros, but whenever we lean into the macro and we can work with our customer success team, we can work with our sales team and think about retention impact. So if we went and worked through an advanced marketing feature, and we see that this customer took that step, they activated in their accounts, how does that impact retention? Well, it makes them stickier because they're increasing their ability to use the product. And we can also say to our customer success team, customer X took this action, give them a high five, see if it's working with them. How do we collaborate together so they know that, that it's a team effort. It's not just sort of a go figure it out and then it'll be fine. We also work collaboratively with marketing on educational webinars, and then we have that chance to see sales acquisition. A lot of folks, they want to see a webinar just to see how things work. And so we can see, person showed up and watched the webinar, and then they reached out to sales. Great. Did that result in a new sales? And then we can think about what are the elements of the product that we need to talk to our prospective customers about in our sales calls or in our educational content.
Lovely. I think they're really, really appreciated for taking out time and sharing your insights and practices you follow at Mailchimp. If our listeners or the viewers would like to connect with you to learn more about customer education or probably how to manage so many hats at the same time, how can they reach out to you?
I'm totally available on LinkedIn. Definitely send me a message. Excited to talk to whomever and commiserate or dream and scheme or whatever y'all would be interested in doing. I think from a customer education perspective, these are the conversations that we need to have. So kudos to you, Rich, for bringing folks together. I think we will only be greater whenever we have conversations, and I can figure out, how I can be better because I hear how you're doing it in a great way. So let's keep the conversation going.
Lovely. One last question, Erika. For the next podcast episode, is there somebody you'd like to listen to? Somebody's thought you really want to, you'd love to share or something?
Oh, well, this is a good question. One of the things that I'm thinking a lot about right now, and I don't know who the specific person would be, but, everybody's talking about Chat GPT. I'd love to hear from someone who's using this sort of automated content creation in customer education. I think that there's opportunity there to be able to sort of quicken the loop around re-editing and always going back and making sure that you've got the most up-to-date content in your knowledge base. I think that would be really cool to learn a little bit about that. I don't know who's doing it yet, but I'm sure somebody's out there experimenting.
Pretty cool. Thank you so much, Erika. Have a wonderful day.
Awesome. Thanks, Rich.